Before we get to the music, we're going to talk about life and death. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing we promise. If you promise to live, you promise to die. So I am here with a life insurance specialist who decided to come and visit Atlanta radio station. It goes by the name of CHINEY. When I say specialist, he's been doing it for over 30 years. And I'll let him give you a little bit about what he does and the purpose for why he's here and why life insurance is so very important.
Thank you, Parrish. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me reach your audience. My name is Chinney Du Honora, but you call me Chinney. I've been in the life insurance. I've been doing life insurance for 30 plus years, and primarily the reason for getting into the life insurance business, life insurance is a way to really help your family. It's a way to accumulate wealth and then pass it on to your family, to the who are called the beneficiaries. Many cases, and I'm sure everybody has had some situation, whether it's an older person or an older person dies and there's not enough money for funeral. So what ends up happening, the family members and friends are reached out for contribution. We've also, I'm sure there's been instances where untimely death of a young person, and what ends up happening, while the family is grieving, not enough to take care of the final expense, and we reach out to the community for contribution, and there's been instances where a young person, a child dies, which is something that we don't prepare for. But life insurance solves a lot of these needs, takes care of these needs while we are grieving. Okay, we don't need to worry about the money part, the financing part. That's where the life insurance comes in.
Okay, so I don't know if you know what you just did, but you gave up a whole bunch of game real fast. Like you almost got to the beginning, the middle, and the end in one sentence. So for the listeners, I'm gonna kind of break it down. He was explaining what insurance is, what life insurance is. Life insurance. When your mama dies, your cousin, your best friend, everybody knows somebody who has passed away. He used another word that caught my brain, said thing. He said unexpected. Now, let's kind of talk about, so briefly, life insurance covers death. That's the basis. Now, he mentioned unexpected. That means when it wasn't supposed to happen, like the corona, it wasn't supposed to happen. That's traumatic. So could you kind of explain to the listeners what unexpected life insurance would be?
There are several ways you can articulate it, but I would say that none of us made any contract with God, so we don't know when our time comes. So I like to look at all deaths as unexpected, really, even when somebody is up there 100 years old or 1 year old. I don't think, it's easier to deal with when you are up there in age. But untimely deaths or unexpected deaths, somebody middle age, a child, and naturally, as human nature, we don't take time out to prepare. Okay, so life insurance comes in Say, for example, a family of a middle-aged family, say a 45-year-old male with spouse 40 years old with 2 or 3 children, okay? In the event of death, those kids are going to need um, money for everyday life, okay? In the breadwinner, in the event of death, you wouldn't want the mortgage company to take back the house. You want the family to maintain a reasonable lifestyle, something close to where you were.
When I raise my hand, it's like I'm in church.
Okay, okay.
But what you said, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Not personally, but just knowing people. So what I took from that is, in the lower class and a lot of the black communities, they don't have insurance. Or if they have insurance, they have the very minimum of life insurance. So what may happen is, someone in your family dies, and all y'all basically got covered for was enough money to just pay for the funeral. So now we gotta still worry about mama still had to pay the house off, and we ain't got no money, but that's what the insurance would have kicked in.
That is correct. You know, the insurance, in this situation, I mean, this example, a 45-year-old ordinarily doesn't have $100,000 sitting in the bank.
Right.
Okay? So if you do have $100,000 in savings in the bank, that money takes care of the family. But he's only, you know, a healthy 45-year-old, the premium is about $15 to $20 a month to have $100,000 worth of coverage. So in this case, $15 to $20 a month in premium to provide $100,000 benefit in the event of death makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And when you look at the cost, you know, it's less than a cost of a cup of coffee a day.
Right.
Okay. But the problem is that nobody thinks about this. I mean, many people don't think about it that way.
I mean, but who want to think about it? And this is an excellent topic. I'm glad I recorded this show so I can go back and, you know, do some numbers. And once again, Mr. Chiney, I appreciate you stopping into Atlanta radio station to give us this informative information about why life insurance is needed. And now we can kind of talk about who needs it. Like who? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people may not know who needs it. But one thing that I would listen to, and the listeners should listen to, is that he did speak about that untimely and accidental death. I think that's a great clause. But who would actually need it? Like, who would qualify, and are there any qualifications to get it?
Thank you again, Parrish. Now, as far as life insurance goes, who needs it? We all do. We all do. Children needs it, middle-aged needs it, elderly needs it. Particularly, I see, and I'm sure you see, in the you know, would you not tell me that you have now witnessed an aunt, an uncle, a parent, a brother or sister pass, and there's not enough money for funeral? So these things are so affordable. So for the elderly, if you don't feel like you have enough, you can get some. And I'm sure that without mentioning any names, but if I say this commercial, it would ring a bell. I'm sure you've seen some notable gentleman on TV that says you can get a policy for $9.95. And somebody will say, well, I'm 50, what's my price? $9.95, 85, what's my price? $9.95. So I've got comparable products, okay, with major carriers, I represent companies like Cigna, Transamerica, and Mutual of Omaha. Example, a 50-year-old female can get a $2,000 policy whole life for $6.24, and it pays death benefit right away. Okay, and we can do it all the way to age 85 for the same thing, $37 a month. So as a child, concerned about the elderly member in your family, be it a parent, an aunt, or an uncle, then heavens forbid, in the event of death, the financial burden is likely to be on you, the child. So what do? Do you have enough money in the bank to take care of that funeral? Would it not make sense as a child to purchase life insurance? So in the event of death of the elderly member of the family, there will be that money for final expense. And that's what they call whole life final expense policies. And to obtain that, it doesn't take much. Some basic questions, and there are policy, if they don't qualify for the level benefits, regardless of the health condition, they can still get a policy. Okay, so that's one segment that happens more often, and that we've all experienced. Okay, and as I say, when you look, you've seen the commercials for different whole life policies, and we've got that. Cigna has got a very good product. The application will be taken over the phone. Okay, it asks the basic questions, and decisions you can get a decision fairly shortly after the application. Then, depending on the need for the middle age, that wants higher policy, and if you're willing to go through, oh, by the way, for the senior policy, there are no medical exams required, okay, and they don't even ask you for your height and weight. So in an obese situation, you can still get a policy, okay. Now, for a middle age that wants to buy a higher face amount, $100,000 or more, depending on if you're willing to go through the process, the application process of underwriting process of going through medical exam and blood and urine, then you can get really, 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 really nice rates for term products.
Okay, so take, because I still think I would say we live in certain classisms. So if you say middle class, what would be a standard rate for like a middle class family for life insurance? For a basic policy, like do you have like packages set up where they can get maybe life insurance, but then is the unexpected death something they would have to add on, or is it, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So for middle-aged families, okay, depending on where you are, depending on what kind of budget you're working with, okay, there's what you call, by the way, and when it comes to life insurance, it can either be term or whole life. Okay, and there's a couple of other options in between called universal life. So the term insurance, they're usually inexpensive. Say for example, a 40-year-old couple, a couple in their 40s with young children, and their concern is in the event something happened to them, would their children be able to get go through education, maintain their standard of living. Then a term policy comes into play. And it can be 10, 20, or 30-year term. That means that premium is guaranteed for that period of term, 10, 20, or 30 years. The lower the term in 10 years, so a 40-year-old male or female can actually have $250,000 policy for about $20 a month. Now, if you get a longer term, if you want that premium guaranteed for 30 years, then that premium can go to about $30-something a month. Okay? Now, here's another beauty about life insurance.
But that's less than a cell phone bill.
Absolutely. Life insurance is amazingly affordable. Okay. Life insurance is amazingly affordable. Okay? And people just don't know how, in many cases, people are not aware of how affordable it is. And this is where that we welcome a telephone call from you so we can give you exact quotes. And that number is 404-286-4000. That is 404-286-4000. Life insurance also provides the whole life policies for the elderly. Once you get into that policy, the premium never goes up,